Welcome into the Pioneer Weekly Recap and Preview Show. I'm Brian Staten. Spring sports are here. It is time, and it is the time that a lot of things will be going on, especially here at Tusculum University. Lacrosse has opened up. Women's lacrosse will be opening up. Softball is opening up, and baseball is just around the corner where they'll have a long stretch here at home. But first, we still have to get through the basketball season as well. It's kind of where we'll start, as Tusculum hosting Anderson, also on the road to Newberry this week. And both teams, interestingly, go 1-1. They were swept at home on Wednesday. The Tusculum women fall on to Anderson 55-46, shorthanded, and the Pioneer men fall to Newberry by a final of, or I should say Anderson by a final of 68-66. Pioneers led in the contest late in that game by a score of 66-58 and were outscored down the stretch as Anderson gets the victory. The Pioneers then go to Newberry on Saturday, and the women win for the first time there since 2008, 71-63, and the Pioneer men get a 2-overtime win. It's the second time this year that they played overtime with Newberry. It's the second time that they would have rallied from a double-digit deficit to force the overtime to get the win. The Pioneers sweep Newberry on the road this past Saturday. So for Tusculum this week, the Pioneer women playing Hiwassee midweek Wednesday, and both teams back in action in South Atlantic Conference play as they'll take on Queens University in Charlotte coming up this week. As far as other sports, such as baseball, the spring sports get underway. For the first time in 21 years, Doug Jones is not walking the sidelines, or is not in the third base box. The skipper for the Pioneers, the winningest skipper in school history, it's Brandon Steele. Now, Brandon Steele's been a part of the 540 of the 705 wins for Pioneer coach Doug Jones, who is now the Vice President of Athletics and University Initiatives here at school. Now, Brandon Steele, part of that for 15 years, 540 wins. Is now the first-year head coach for the Pioneers on their annual Florida road swing, and things got off to a swimmingly good start for the Pioneers as they get their first win of the season as they were on the road this past week. But then the other three contests as they fall. Pioneers knock off Berry by a final of 7-3, and then fall to Palm Beach Atlantic 7-1, and that was after they fell earlier to Lynn after getting a couple of home runs and fall 7-6 in that contest. The same day, the Pioneers, who led 5-0, the same day they picked up their first win, had to get onto a bus and drive down to take on 18th-ranked Nova Southeastern. Led 5-0, gave up a 12-run fifth, and fell 17-5 to Nova Southeastern. So they got off to the good start, but end up falling in the final three in their Florida swing. They'll get a chance to come home and see if they can't play a little bit better later in the week. But first, they'll go to Belmont Abbey for a 3-game series this week for the Pioneer baseball team. Dalton Martin, by the way, clubbed 2 home runs in that 7-6 loss to Lynn. Softball is opening up this week. They're on the road this week in Central South Carolina as they take on Southern Wesleyan. Then softball will be at home at the Red Edmonds Field Complex, Mount Olive and Tusculum this coming Saturday, and they'll have that doubleheader there. Men's and women's tennis are in action to start the spring schedule this coming weekend as well. This Saturday, February 9th, from the Nichols Tennis Complex, they will take on Virginia Wise, 12 o'clock start there. Men's lacrosse has opened up this season against nationally ranked Limestone last week and fell 22-2. They'll have a chance to gain some redemption, I guess you could say, this coming week as they'll host Lees McRae from Pioneer Field. That'll be a 3 o'clock start, and that'll be Saturday, February 9th as well. Softball will finish up the weekend. They'll take on Converse again from Red Edmonds Field. That will be a Sunday showdown with Converse. Women's lacrosse getting underway this week. Also, they'll take on Shorter. That will also be a home game. That's a midweek game Wednesday, February 6th, as they'll take on Converse, a 3 o'clock start there. We've talked about what basketball will be doing. The Tusculum basketball team, the women's team, will be in action for a midweek showdown this week. Tusculum women have recently been ranked 7th in the D2 SIDA poll as well. Again, it's just kind of a poll from Sports Information Directors of America, and it's more of a regional thing that has gone on. So good to see them still ranked in the top 10. The actual poll that would put them into a national tournament will be out this week. That'll be the first poll of the week. Thing we didn't talk about was track and field at the Buccaneer Invitational at ETSU. Richard Gervale, guy that made All-American honors from a year ago, was running for the first time this season and did so quite well provisionally finishing second in his heat after his second run, after technically finishing 11th in the top 12, advancing to the finals. And then Witcher Gravel running third behind two runners in the South Atlantic Conference, LR and Carson Newman, but finished the 60 meters at 6.68 as he would qualify third and finish third in the ETSU Buccaneer Invitational to lead the Pioneer contingent this week. And again, indoor track and field will be back in action in 2 weeks. So good week for everyone as far as wins, competing, competition, and the women still ranked in the D2 SIDA poll. Again, that national poll will be out in just about a week or so as a Pioneer team that went just 1-1 last week, still right there in the upper echelon of the South Atlantic Conference. There are also some other honors for this Pioneer basketball team and individuals such as our Applebee's Student Athletes of the Week. This week it goes to indoor track and field, or I should say this month goes to our indoor track and field high jumper, and that's Guillaume DeVries, and also women basketball standout Mia Long. DeVries was named the South Atlantic Conference Field Athlete of the Week twice during the month of January, winning both the high jump at the ETSU Invitational and the Liberty Kickoff Invitational as well. Currently ranked second in the league and tied for 8th nationally with his jump of just under 7 feet. His mark is also the second best in the Southeast region, trailing only Isaiah Kyle of Wingate, who beat him in the event at Liberty. So congratulations to Guillaume DeVries, our Applebee's Athlete of the Month, along with Mia Long. Had a team-high 14.4 points a game during the month of January, scoring in double figures 8 in 10 games, and a season-best 23 in the victory against Coker. She's excelled on the defensive side of the basketball as well. She's averaged 4.9 steals a game during the month and also had 4.2 rebounds per contest. Her steals per game average at 4.39 continues to lead the nation, and she's also averaging 4.4 rebounds and 2.9 assists per game as well. As she goes into the game with Newberry this past week, she needed just 41 points to reach 1,000 for her collegiate career. She's still a little shy of 1,000 points for her collegiate career. But congratulations to our Athletes of the Month. That's Guillaume DeVries along with Mia Long, our Athletes of the Month. We also had our Athletes of the Week for Zaxby. So we'd like to congratulate Caleb Hodnett. What a great week that he has had for the Pioneer men's basketball team. And on the indoor track and field side, Destiny Wilson, our Zaxby's Athletes of the Week. Hodnett, a junior from Adolphus, Kentucky, scored a career-best 27 in Tusculum's 96-91 two-overtime win against Newberry on Saturday. And for the week, he averaged a team-best 21 points a game, 15 of 25 from the floor, and the Pioneers went 1-1 on the week. He went for 15 points on 5 of 9 from the floor against Anderson, who erased that big deficit in that contest to get that victory. Tusculum erased a 14-point second-half deficit against Newberry to get the win there. Wilson placed 6th in the high jump, 5 feet 1 inch, 7th in the long jump with the mark of 17 feet 4 3/4 inches, which are both school records at the ETSU Buccaneer Invitational. She became the first woman high jumper in women's history to not miss on her first 3 attempts before needing a second try to clear her final height and capture 6th place in the event and move into a tie for 4th on the conference performance list as well. Now in the long jump, the freshman had a mark of 5.29 meters, just shy of 17.4 inches in the trials, and slightly improved that for a 7th place finish there. The leap broke both her own record at the ETSU Invitational last month, in which she hit a 5.23 meters as well. Congratulations to our Zaxby's Athletes of the Week. Coming up in the month of February, the Pioneers will be playing just one Saturday home game, but that game will be our annual Play for K game. Come out and support a great cause, breast cancer awareness, and needing funding for research for that. That'll be our cause. That'll be your chance to come out and support the Pioneers, number one, and support a great cause as well as we Play for K. That'll be February 16th when the Pioneers take on the Lenore-Rhine Bears. Our tip-off time for the women's game will be at 2, with the men's game to follow. So spring sports are abound, and if you look around or you've been walking outside here in East Tennessee over the last couple of days or this last week, you know it feels like spring, but also we can't get too comfortable with that because it is East Tennessee and that weather can change rather quickly. Temperatures into the 60s. Everybody's been outside playing. We'll see if that temperature holds for the teams to be able to finish their games here this week. So follow online, as always, through TusculumPioneers.com, where you can get the latest updates and scheduling, stories, stats, and you can follow your favorite teams, again, through TusculumPioneers.com. Get the latest in the composite, listen, watch, view, anything that you need there on that site. For Nick Forsberg, for Dom Donnelly, and everyone behind the scenes here at the Pioneer Sports Network, I'm Brian Staten. And until next week, go Pioneers.